Hello Year 9s, it's Mr. Sutton. I hope you're all keeping well during these strange times. I'm going to do some quick videos for you guys from now on, just to help you guys at home make things a little bit simpler, hopefully make things a little bit easier to track and keep up to speed. Okay, so this lesson is going to be on methods of payment, which is in component 3. That's our exam component. You will have to do this exam next year, so it's really important that you keep up to speed with these lessons and make notes, complete the activities so that you are super prepared for the exam next year. So we're looking at methods of payment. What we're going to look to do today is go through and understand the different methods of payment, and then with the worksheet be able to select the most appropriate methods of payment for certain business scenarios. So there are several ways a customer can make payment to a business. We're going to look at cash, credit cards, debit cards, direct debit, and different payment technologies. I'm now looking at the slide where there is a video, so if you click here for video on the slide that says video, there is about 1.5 minute, 2-minute video that just gives you a quick lowdown on the different payment methods available. So if you do that in your own time. So cash is still very popular, still in circulation. It is arguably the most traditional payment form. Cash, we've all used it, we've all handed it over at shops in the form of a note or a coin, and cash is still used throughout the UK, even though its use is beginning to decline. It's seen as a bit of an old-fashioned method of payments. There are problems with cash. I don't know if you're as unfortunate as I am, but I've lost the odd £10 note, £20 note over the years, so you've got to be careful with it. You've got to make sure it's tucked into your wallet nice and securely. There are people out there who like to steal money, of course, so you've got to keep an eye on it, especially businesses with lots of members of staff who might get itchy fingers to swipe a £20 note. It does happen quite a lot, and it can be quite a big problem for businesses in the hospitality industry or supermarkets, things like that. It is also difficult because mistakes are often made with cash. So remember, with cash it's quite a long process of counting the cash, giving change. Sometimes you give too much change, sometimes you give too little. And that can have a big effect on the cash flow of a business. But cash is often still the most preferred sort of appropriate method of payment because you don't need any technology, nice and old school. You just hand over the money for the product, nice and quick, no need to have any internet access or card machines, contactless technology, chip and pin, anything like that. So it's the simplest way probably to pay for something. And businesses who generally sell smaller products with the value of about £1, a couple of quid, it's often not worth them investing in the technology you need to take credit card, debit cards and payment technologies. So often businesses who sell low value products prefer just to deal in cash, as it keeps those costs down and they don't face any charges to accept cash. So the advantages: businesses like it because they get their money immediately. The customer buys something and within seconds they've handed over some notes and coins, it's put in the till, that money is the business's, so it's instantaneous. And you also know the customer is good for it. You know they have the money. If they don't, then you don't sell them the products. You need to see evidence they have the cash. So that is definitely an advantage of receiving cash for a business. Another good one is that there's no additional fees, there's no transaction charges and processing fees that are incurred by other payment methods that we're going to look at it later. So cash, there's no middleman, you don't need to pay anyone else, the money's straight in your own back pocket and you keep 100% of it, which is obviously a great advantage for a business. There are disadvantages though. One big one, especially in the modern world, is not that many people carry much cash with them. I know for one, I never have any cash in my wallet. I'm constantly beeping my credit or debit card to pay for things, and it's only for things like parking meters and whatnot that I need coins or notes. So you don't really need coins and notes in the modern world, but the odd shop, the odd dinosaur type of business is still holding on to cash. Will it be gone in your guys' lifetimes? I would probably say each year cash is going to become less important. Cash is also quite easy to counterfeit. Okay, when I mean counterfeit, I mean printing fake money that looks like the real deal. Okay, it happens all over the world. That's why the banknotes we have watermarks on and quite distinctive designs. They're supposed to be very hard to copy, but sneaky criminals still find a way to make fake money, to make counterfeit money. And businesses obviously do not want to accept counterfeit money because it is worthless. Cash also means you've got to be super careful with your bookkeeping. Bookkeeping basically means keeping a record of your money coming in and your money coming out. But cash makes that quite tricky because you could, a business, say a pub for example, might have lots of coins coming in, lots of notes, giving change, receiving money. So it's quite hard to track actually how much money you're taking in and how much you're giving back. So you need to be very organised with your bookkeeping, which can be very time consuming, or if you pay an accountant it can be quite expensive. The next one we've got is credit card. So you guys won't have a credit card yet, as I believe you need to be 18 years old, but credit card comes down to the term credit, and credit is where you can buy something but pay for it later. It is deferred. So a credit card is basically a card a lender gives you, the credit card company, which means you can spend the credit card company's money, which is not your money, and pay them back at a later date. So the credit card company lends you money, but they give you a credit limit. They don't just let you spend unlimited money. They might say, we'll loan you £1,000 on the credit card. You can't go over that, and you've got to pay it back within a specified amount of time. And if you go over that specified amount of time, then they hit you with an interest rate, and that is bad news because an interest rate is a charge. So if you spent £1,000 on a credit card and you paid it back a little bit late, you might have to pay, say, £1,100 back, which means you have to pay back more than you originally spent. So it can be quite an expensive charge to incur. But the advantage of a credit card is that it is a super easy, flexible way to pay. They all have contactless on them. They've got online apps and things that you can track the money you're spending and the money you're paying back to the credit card company. But disadvantage is those nasty interest rates, which can quickly build up and leave people in lots of debt. So, in the modern world, credit cards are possibly the most common payment option. Most adults have a credit card and have used a credit card in their life. And people, when they buy things, especially expensive items, tend to use credit cards. And the good news is, for businesses, credit cards encourage impulse buying. So impulse buying means you see something quite expensive in the shops, might be some clothing, and you think, oh, I don't have much money in my bank account, but the credit card allows you to buy that thing without actually having the money in your own account. It allows you to loan money from the credit card company. So it means people can buy things much more freely and not necessarily have the money. It means they can pay that money back later. And obviously credit cards can be used online, which is always handy. The disadvantages for a business that deals with credit cards is the credit card companies they're often the victim of criminal activity, fraudulent activity of people stealing and cloning credit cards and basically stealing other people's money by using sort of trickster methods to clone your credit card or find out what your credit card number is, and then they can spend your money without you realising. There's also processing fees. So processing fees, credit card companies charge a fee. They don't do anything for free. They only let businesses accept credit card payments for, say, a 1% transaction fee. So if I bought something from a shop for £100, the credit card company may charge that shop £1 or 1% for the privilege of accepting credit card payment. Debit cards, quite similar to credit cards, but like a credit card, you have a card, but you pay, when you beat your card or you pay for something in store, that money comes directly out of your own bank account. It is your own personal money. You're not borrowing it from anyone. The debit card is your money that you've saved and put on your card. So it works very similar to a credit card. They look very similar, but it is directly linked to your personal bank account. So if you spend £10 in the supermarket, £10 is taken out of your personal account instantaneously. Debit cards, like credit cards, are very common methods of payment and becoming more common, especially with the introduction of contactless payment. Pretty much every business takes debit and credit card payments. Very few now only accept cash. So that's why most people do pay with a debit card. So a direct debit sounds very similar to a debit card, but a direct debit is different. So a direct debit is when you sign up for a monthly subscription. So a monthly subscription could be your Netflix account. So I personally have a Netflix account, and each month I pay them about £10, and let's say I signed a form at the start of my Netflix subscription to agree that that money went out on the 5th day of every month. So on the 5th day of every month, £10 leaves my account and goes to Netflix. So it's an instruction you give to the bank to give Netflix permission to take that money on a certain day each month, which is great because then I don't need to worry about having to pay Netflix. It's all automated. I don't need to do anything once I've done the original form, and every month that money goes out, which is nice and easy, nice and simple. Businesses use direct debits all the time. It might be to pay off loans, monthly repayments. It might be to pay their electricity bill, their gas bill, their internet bill. Businesses often have lots of subscriptions, memberships, software memberships to things like Microsoft Office. And they'll also pay the rent for the shop, the internet for the shop, their phone bills. Direct debit's a really useful way of cutting down the sort of administrative, time-consuming tasks because it's all done automatically. They're very easy to set up. It probably takes about a minute or 2 minutes to do the direct debit form, to agree, to sign up for it. So it's nice and easy to do that. So the advantages for customers are that they can stick to a routine. They can sign the form and say, I want to pay Netflix on this day every month and I don't want to worry about it. So they sign the form and then it automatically goes out. They know what day it's going to go out. It doesn't change. The same day every month, the same amount goes out. So it's nice to have a little bit of a routine. Customers can also, like I said, set up a direct debit in about a minute or two, so that's easy. And they can also cancel the direct debits by simply logging onto their online banking or phoning their bank, so they can cancel it within a couple of minutes as well. Customers like it because they don't need to remember to pay things every month. So at the moment you guys might not have too many things you have to pay each month, but as you get older these things start to build up and it would take hours to remember to pay everything. So a direct debit cuts that burden down a little bit. It's great for customers as well because they can spread the costs over months rather than paying it all at once. So a customer, if they were to buy a sofa for £1,000, rather than having to take a big hit of paying £1,000 all in one go, they can fortunately spread that £1,000 payment for the sofa over 12 months. So it's not as big a blow to their bank account all in one go, it's spread out. And direct debits are really useful for businesses and customers as it's really easy to track on your bank statements. You just have to go through your bank statements, and if you were paying say your rent, you know your rent goes out on the 10th day of every month, you can go through your bank statements, check the 10th day of every month, and you should see your rent go out. So it's easy. The disadvantages of direct debits are some customers are a little bit old school and they don't like signing up for regular payments. They don't like knowing that lots of money each month is going out of their account. Some people prefer to pay the one big payment up front, take the blow, and then not have to worry about it. So quite a few customers are like that. The problem is for businesses with direct debits is they have to wait longer for their money, which has a negative impact on their cash flow. Because obviously businesses would prefer to have the full payment paid up front, but a direct debit means a customer takes longer to pay them. So that's not ideal for a business, and some businesses don't accept direct debits because they just want the cash straight in their account. I am now moving on to payment technologies, which are becoming more popular. You guys might have them on your smartphones or laptops, tablets or whatever, and I'm sure you've come across different forms of payment technologies when you bought things online before. So most transactions are starting to happen using e-commerce. That means using the internet in some fashion. Payment technologies allow people to pay for things by sort of using things like PayPal or online banking or online checkouts. So PayPal is probably the oldest, sort of most traditional payment technology. It's probably been around for 20 years maybe, and it's a nice, safe, secure piece of software that allows you to send money to somebody and buy goods online essentially. Online banking has become more popular because you can now download the apps to your phone and track payments and ping payments across to people. Most adults now have some form of online banking, maybe you guys do, and it's a really easy way of just within seconds logging onto your online banking on your phone, and you can read through your bank statements, you can send money, you can check if people have paid you, and businesses also use these apps. So it's a really useful, simple way of tracking your money coming in and your money coming out. Online checkouts, I'm sure we've all used one of these before when we've shopped online. So if you're on Boohoo or ASOS or another clothing website, whatever you guys use, I'm not sure what the most popular online shopping website is these days, but I'm sure when you've gone through, you've added 2 or 3 things to your basket. Once you're happy with that, you click online checkout or go to the checkout. That's what's meant by an online checkout. And there's new things. It's becoming easier than ever to buy pretty much anything on your phone. So there's new things like Deliveroo, which is a delivery technology that allows you to connect with a delivery driver and places like McDonald's, KFC, Nando's, and the delivery driver is paid from your phone. They go and collect the food and they bring it to your front door, which has been very helpful, especially for myself during the lockdown period. There's also companies like Uber, which I'm not sure if you guys have used it before, but it's a taxi company where you use an app, all your card details are on the app, and you can within seconds order a taxi, and the phone picks up your location, and within minutes a taxi finds where you are and you've paid on your phone very easily, very quickly. So the advantages of payment technologies. Well, the great thing is with payment technologies, nearly everybody these days has a smartphone. So a smartphone, you can download all your credit cards and debit cards onto your phone, and then your phone can act as a wallet. So you don't even need a wallet these days. Your phone can do pretty much everything if you download your cards onto it. So you might have seen it in shops when people beep their phone or even a watch, a smartwatch, onto the payment chip and pin, and that's the payment done. And because of this, because of a simple beep, payments are generally faster, which sorts out queue times in supermarket shops, and it means that with cash it's a little bit slower, isn't it? Because you have to count the money, the person behind the till has to count your change, and it takes much longer. So payment technologies have made shopping and transactions quicker than ever. The disadvantages though, there are security leaks, there are online fraudsters who are finding ways to sort of steal money from payment technologies. So it might be through fraudulent emails where they try and get you to put your your bank details in. People even go around with chip and pin machines and beep it next to your phone or wallet, which takes money directly off your card, so you need to be careful of that. And it's just really important, if you guys have got contactless or debit or credit cards or payment technologies, to make sure you don't share any personal details, because there are plenty of people out there who commit fraud. The problem is with a business with payment technologies is that it can cost quite a lot of money to buy all the equipment and to have good enough internet access to allow payment technologies. So you need to have the chip and pin with contactless sort of capabilities, and it's all based on the internet obviously, so you need to have fast Wi-Fi. Okay, so that takes me through the slides. There is a worksheet for you guys to complete. I would like you guys to give it your best shot. I want to see full sentences, well explained, and I don't want you to rush through it. I want you to take your time, use the slides, use your own research, and the work is all about choosing the most appropriate payment methods for the different scenarios presented to you. So I've seen some fantastic work by the majority of you, so keep it up. I've been very impressed. For those of you that have fallen a little bit behind, it's really important that you catch up, because this is all going to be material that you'll need to learn for the exam next year. If you have any questions, leave me a comment and I will get back to you in a jiffy. And yeah, just give it your best shot, and I'm always here to help should you have any questions. So take care guys, and I will upload some work next week. See you later.